Hello, everyone. It's Rebe Budgeting because, yes, I'll be budgeting and cash stuffing. Welcome back to my channel where we are telling our money where to go so we're not left wondering where it went. On my channel, we do all things cash envelope stuffing, sinking funds, savings challenges, and some budget with me's. If that's something you're interested in, definitely be sure to hit that subscribe button. Like this video, give it a big thumbs up, and make sure to comment below so we can chit chat. In today's video, I'm going to be doing my last entry of the Our Different Budgeting Journeys, the ODBJ hashtag started by Budgeting April. And today's video is going to be about advice. And one thing that I've noticed this week in particular is that there's definitely a clear theme. And typically when you hear advice or you hear a clear theme repeated multiple times, 9 times out of 10, it's true. 9 times out of 10, it's considered a best practice. And so I'm sure in this video, you may not hear anything groundbreakingly new, but I feel good about repeating it because that's how true it is. So I don't necessarily have an order to this advice. It might be all over the place, knowing me, but hopefully I'm able to add just a little bit to what's already been said. And the good thing about the advice too is I'm speaking to myself when I'm saying this. And so not only am I giving advice to those that may be watching, but also I'm looking in the mirror as well. But for sure, the first thing that I would say when it comes to budgeting in general is just try not to overwhelm yourself. It can become very mentally exhausting, emotionally exhausting. Of course, you may feel pressure financially when you're just starting out budgeting, but one thing about budgeting, like we've been saying, is that it is personal to you and your family and your situation. And so you can't try to fit anyone else's mold. Anytime for me personally, when I start feeling anxious or I start feeling down about my current situation, typically that means I'm starting to compare myself or I'm looking at someone else's journey and feeling a type of way that I'm not there yet. And so again, if I'm feeling overwhelmed, usually what I'll do is just take a moment to reground myself and make sure that I'm being realistic with what my current situation is. And so I easily got overwhelmed at the beginning because I was looking at the number of sinking funds that some people had, or even the number of savings challenges that some people were doing. And not only were they were doing them, but they were completing them extremely fast too. And so I just got super overwhelmed emotionally because I looking at their progress, like I want to get there too. But then I had to ground myself and just be very real in that I'm still a beginner, not even 6 months in yet, budgeting in this way. And so I'm not going to be where they are. So definitely try not to overwhelm yourself or your budget when you're first starting out. And then the big one, obviously, is just starting, figuring out where you can start. The biggest part is with just sitting down, pen and paper, writing out your income, writing out your bills, writing out your expenses. Like literally, that's where you can start. I'm not going to say start savings challenges. I'm not going to say start a savings account or anything like that, or even start envelopes and sinking funds. But just start by looking at your income on a monthly, weekly, bi-weekly basis, writing out all the expenses, all your bills, including gas, grocery, if you need money for your kids, money for a significant other, expenses that come up in daily life, write all those out. And then that's how you start budgeting. Once you see it black and white, pen and paper, then you can start to think about if there's money left over. Because as I've been saying throughout my uploads on this series, is you have to pay your bills first, period, point blank. No question there. Pay your bills, pay your debts. If after you've done that, you still have money left over, then you can start to think about, where do you want to put that money? Are there sinking funds that you want to start, like an emergency fund, a fund for birthdays, holidays, family members, things like that? Or do you want to just start sending that money over to a savings account, just so you can start having some amount of money in a savings account? But first and foremost, you have to start, and you have to make sure your bills and your daily life expenses are taken care of. And this is the part where I kind of talked about last week, when it comes to that point where you're like, okay, my bills are paid, my expenses are paid, I have food in the refrigerator, I have gas in my car. Now what? And if you're not satisfied with that number, then yeah, that's when you have to have a real conversation about, do you need additional income? Do you need a side hustle? Do you need a second job? Do you need to look at those expenses and reduce some of those? Maybe subscriptions, or maybe work out at home for a while, things like that, without necessarily giving up your whole lifestyle, because we know there are those that are super duper strict on the Dave Ramsey route, where they just eat noodles every day for 2 years, and they sell everything they own, and they don't go out to eat, they don't go on trips. There's those folks, and then there's folks throughout that whole spectrum where you try to do a little bit of both, as long as it's within budget. And so I'm not going to say go all the way one way or another. It's totally up to you, up to your lifestyle and what you want to do. But you do sometimes will have to have that real conversation about, well, do I need another job, another source of income, so that I can save, pay off debt, and make sure my sinking funds are at a good level. And then another advice is just pay yourself first as early as possible. All work and no play. That's how you can get off track, is if only you're stuffing your envelope, stuffing your sinking funds, building up your emergency fund, taking care of bills. After a while of just doing that, you're going to start to feel neglect in some way, shape, or form, whether it's getting your nails done, whether it's meeting a friend for coffee, whether it's meeting a friend for dinner, or taking your family and your kids out for a movie night. If you go too long without enjoying those parts of life, you'll more than likely completely get off track, and then end up busting the budget, because you restricted yourself for so long, that once you have the opportunity, or once you become fed up with not paying yourself first, you end up losing control. And when I say you, I mean me, because I know I've done that before too, where I was just solely focused on paying bills and, making sure my responsibilities were taken care of, which is good, but I was not paying myself. And so I would end up going overboard and over budget. So make sure you pay yourself first as early as possible. That way you can have guilt-free spending, because you've budgeted for the things that you enjoy in life. And then just overall, know yourself. This is a personal journey. I've been told y'all I am a recovering card swiper. I know that if there's money in my checking account, I will find a reason to swipe my card. And so that's why I use real cash on this channel, because that cash literally needs to be removed from my account and put into my envelopes. When the cash is in the envelopes, I literally do not think about these binders until I need something out of an envelope specific to that expense, or it's time to film a cash stuffing. But once I put my binders up, at the end of a cash stuffing, or at the end of a month-end update, I do not think about the cash that is in here. My mind is thinking about what's in my checking account, because I'm ready to swipe. So definitely have those real conversations with yourself. You have to know yourself. You have to know, do I need a savings account that I have to physically go to, or that I can transfer money to, or that is out of reach so I can't get to it? Because that's definitely me. My savings account, my checking account, those are two things that if they're in reach, I'm gonna be in there. And so learning that discipline to, once that money is in a savings account, it's untouchable. Give your card to somebody. Like at one point I gave my cards to my mom, told her to hide them somewhere in her house. If I ask for them, say no. So I've even done that. But yeah, you just really have to know yourself well, have those real conversations with yourself and with those that may be helping you along this journey, whether that's a family member, your roommate, your significant other, whoever that is, but just have real deal conversations with them about this budgeting journey. And then lastly, after you've done all that, I would say if you want to start the binders and the envelopes, start small. Start with just putting $1. Think about what are the main categories that you want to have an envelope for. I think I started out with maybe 8 envelopes. Now they've tripled. I think I'm somewhere in like the 20s. But as you start budgeting and creating sinking funds and just living life, you start to think about other things that you want to put money aside for. So even if you just start with putting $1 in each envelope, trust me, that $1 is going to build. And again, do not compare your $1 to someone else's $5 or $10, but just focus on that $1 and putting $1 in each envelope, and you'll be surprised how quickly that builds up. Because this is one thing about it. Somebody else mentioned that this is a lifestyle change. This isn't a fad. This isn't something that you can just do for a short amount of time and it be all good. But this is a complete lifestyle change between yourself and your relationship with money and paydays and bill days and due dates. And so while it's very exciting and, we're all trying to encourage everyone to get on board and join all of us in this, in this budgeting lifestyle. But it is truly a lifestyle change, and one that will truly change your life. Like I said, just within the last 6 months, I've seen so much progress in how I feel about money and how I conduct my personal business. And so it's definitely a beautiful journey. It's exciting. You do not have to start out with binders and cute envelopes and all that. I think that's been repeated quite a few times as well. I started out with my original Dave Ramsey envelopes. And then once I was able to put some money aside to purchase from small shops, then I started, getting these binders from Amazon and special envelopes from Etsy and stuff. But even if you just start with what you have in your house right now, the key is to start. So I think that's pretty much it. If you have any questions at all, definitely leave them below. If you have some advice that you want to share that I missed, definitely leave those below as well. If you have not subscribed to this point, hit that red button, like this video. Like I said, let's chit chat. Let's meet in the comments. Thank you, Miss April, for including me in this series. I have really appreciated it. I've appreciated watching all of the channel stories. Please hit the hashtag. You can see all of the uploads from all the channels for each week. And I think that is it for this video, you guys. This week it is payday, so be on the lookout for my budget with me and my cash stuffing. But until then, please take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.